Okay, no, I'm not doing that. Jesus.
Stop it. I just snorted. I don't know what that was about. So, welcome to the Time of Our Wives. This is Gemini.
And this is Capricorn.
And we are discussing episodes 7 and 8 of Bridgerton.
Yes, which is the season finale, and we have finally tucked this one away, sadly. And then we have to wait for Netflix to grace us with yet another season.
And they will, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to start with episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else we need to cover before I dive in?
All I have for my notes for episode 7, I think, is that...
Well, I was going to issue a trigger warning on sexual assault before we begin, because again, we're going to touch on episode 6 and Monster Daphne. So we do want to put out there that rape is never okay.
Yes.
And it's obvious in our everyday intake of information that consent needs to be something that is taught from the very beginning.
Yes.
I actually work with children who are fairly young, and we teach consent. We teach you're not allowed to grab somebody's face. You are not allowed to, put your hands on somebody, to try to get a hug from somebody without their permission.
Right.
You ask, and if they don't want it, that's fair. Please teach consent from the very beginning.
Yes.
All right, so rape is never okay. We need to teach consent from the very beginning. How we are not entitled to anybody else's space, into anybody else's body.
Right.
And we don't just assume that. I mean, sometimes we figure that out on our own, but children who turn into adults need to be taught from the very beginning what is okay and what is not okay.
Right.
We don't just leave it up to guess. So anyways, that's the trigger warning. Let's start. So the episode starts after the sexual assault of Simon by Daphne. I'm assuming it's the next day. It's definitely a day after. So Daphne has proven herself to be bitter and immature.
Yes.
Hands down, she's very self-righteous. She thinks that she was wronged and that what she did was justified, which is disgusting. Regardless on whether he was clear about being able to have children or not wanting children. That's besides the point.
Right.
That is a minor betrayal compared to... it's barely even a betrayal compared to Daphne's...
Right. It was more
assault.
like a misunderstanding.
It was a misunderstanding.
Daphne.
Daphne was just wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that for the story and for the sake of Simon, that we do see some growth for Daphne as the season closes. I'm really hoping that, because it is very obvious that Simon is hurt and betrayed, and he is not going to let himself be taken advantage of by Daphne again.
Right.
He has made that abundantly clear.
Yeah.
What you did was not okay.
And we're not doing this again.
And we're not doing this again. This is not happening. So, totally rightfully so. So, with Whistledown revealing Marina's pregnancy.
Yes, that was a big reveal at the end of episode
I know.
6.
It was like, boom. Guess what? So the Duke and the Duchess decide to return to London to try to take away some of the attention from the family and the scandal.
Right.
They start out by going to the Queen's Luncheon, and immediately you can see Simon and Daphne are at odds with each other. Obviously. I don't think that Daphne fully understands why Simon is so upset.
Yeah, she's not getting it.
She's not getting it.
And he's very angry.
And he is very angry and hurt. And this is a big deal. A very big deal. And she's just in her own head. You get married, you give me babies.
This is what I'm supposed to do.
This is what I deserve. This is what I am entitled to. That is what marriage is.
Right.
But no, not really. She's very mistaken. But what I do like is that Daphne confronts her when her mother comes and finds her. And she's like, Mom, you literally taught me nothing.
Right.
You taught me nothing about marriage, nothing about sex, nothing about reproduction just in general. You left me to be a fool. And had I known more things, I would have known.
It would have been better.
It would have been better. I would have known what to ask, what to look for, you know. If you don't know how something works. Yeah, like exactly. You don't know until somebody tells you or you figure it out yourself, which ended very badly.
Yeah, and her mom seemed to take the news like she was upset and she was kind of thrown off a bit, but I think she quickly realized that Daphne was right, and
yes, you could immediately see the reflection, and then later you see how the mother's reflection plays into her interaction with Eloise.
Yeah.
And she's like, I may be pushing you too fast. If you're not ready to come out, you're not ready to come out. So I do like to see that the mother has grown.
Yes, she does have good character development in this episode.
I like that.
Yeah.
And so throughout the episode, it's the Duke and the Duchess, and they're not talking and not speaking. But finally, after a run-in with Antony, a fight between him and Simon, because they're talking shit about each other's fathers, Daphne is like, what's going on? And Simon tells her that I don't want to have children because I don't want to be like my father.
Right.
Or because it was the most important thing just for an heir. He didn't actually care about me. And he has trauma related to his father.
Yes.
She didn't immediately see the importance of his revelation. She still was thinking, me, what about me?
Well, she also came from a very, very loving family, and like her parents loved each other. Her parents were very close, and like they loved their children. So I don't think it's really even. I don't think it's on her radar. Yeah, it's not on her radar at all that a parent could be that horrible to their child.
She doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that. But pretty much, if she doesn't come to try to be understanding to Simon, it seems like they will most likely carry on living apart.
Yeah.
Together, but not together. So some of the other characters, Colin and Marina. Poor Colin.
I feel kind of bad for him.
I felt bad for Colin. He was completely ready to, like, you know, commit to somebody, and he thought he was in love, and now he's like, how in the world is this happening? Are you okay? Like, I need to speak to Marina.
Right. Well, also, though, at the beginning, he doesn't think
it's true.
He doesn't think it's true. He doesn't think she's actually pregnant. He just thinks it's a lie.
Yeah, so he really wants to speak to her, and Daphne kind of arranges that, seeing how Colin really, truly...
He cares.
And so they do get together, and Marina is like, what else did you expect from me? And I think she kind of underestimated how caring and loving Colin actually is.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's easy for him to say now that, well, if you would have just said something to me, I would have married you. But we don't actually know if that's the case.
Yeah, but I appreciate the fact that he at least, you know, he was like, if you had just been honest, I could have tried to help you, but you didn't even give me a chance. Right.
In the situation with Marina and Colin, we do see a little bit of growth from Daphne. She goes immediately from, we don't want any scandal in our family, to, I'm apologizing. Your situation is tough.
Yeah, and she shifted really quickly, as immature as she is, to this independent matriarch type figure, because now she is a duchess, and now she has to be responsible for a lot of people. Right. And I think that's really made her focus on how she needs to be better.
Yes. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still a rapist.
In my notes, I wrote, I hate Daphne, she's the worst. In all caps.
Yes.
That's what I wrote about episode 7.
Yes.
Daphne's the worst.
And she is. And unfortunately, she doesn't see it that way. And that is where my frustration comes in.
Yeah.
We need to know when we're doing something wrong. They didn't address it at all. Simon was just like, you did that to me.
Right. But it's also like, because of the gender roles at play here, and because of the time period, it's really difficult for him to come out and be like, wow, you really, really, really hurt me, and that was really wrong, and you should have done that.
And it was.
So
definitely.
I think he tried his best.
He did. He did totally. I think he did really well, but it's just frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Because it was like happened and then it was just over.
Yeah.
But that's why we're talking about it. But yeah, so Daphne does begin to grow, and she realizes that Marina was in love with George, the father of the baby, and that she hasn't been able to get a hold of him. And so Daphne takes it upon herself to like use her connection with the general's wife, because she gets to go to that really cool
I know, that party was awesome.
That party was really fun.
I got really excited.
I know. I was like, I'm having a blast and I'm just watching it.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I liked that we got to see the freedoms afforded a married woman versus not a married woman.
It also made me think of the Marie Antoinette film where she's just partying and she can do whatever she wants. And I was like, it's fun watching like historically set women and girls have fun.
Yeah.
Get to have fun and independence.
Yes.
So that's pretty nice.
Not easily come by though.
No, you have to sacrifice a whole lot to get that, but at least they're having a good time.
Yes. And so Daphne meets the general's wife, and she gives her the address, and she has taken it. She's going to write the general and find out about this George character. Something that I wanted to point out, though, is when Daphne is telling Marina that, yes, I have written this letter. It is sent out. Marina's like, well, did your husband sign it?
Right.
And Daphne's like, why would my husband need to sign it?
Duchess.
I'm a duchess. And Marina's like, no.
You're a lady.
You are a woman regardless.
Yeah.
So what makes you think a general is going to even read your letter? So it shows us that Marina is more street smart, I guess.
She's definitely much more worldly.
Yes.
Coming from her little place in the country, as they say.
I know. She hasn't been protected the same way as Daphne has.
No.
So Daphne is ignorant to that. But luckily, she is at least trying.
Yeah, she is trying. And Marina's like, look, I appreciate your help, but what you did is basically worthless.
And further on in the episode, Marina does take a tea to try to self-abort.
Yes. That was another scene that was like kind of rough.
It was very rough. I remember doing a paper on abortion through the ages. I think you helped me with this one.
Probably.
Because it was very stressful for me.
Yeah.
Just in general. And this was not uncommon. Women would find themselves pregnant and have no other options. They didn't have somebody to care for them. They couldn't afford to feed another mouth. They would do all sorts of things to try to end the pregnancy. Because
often they were assumed, if they were not married, they were assumed to be sex workers. They were thrown away. The courts wouldn't help them. Like, they didn't have any kind of support.
And then what comes from their children? I mean, they're taught from the beginning they're nothing.
Right.
And the women know this. And so they don't have a lot of options for contraception. That's why I am totally, impressed with Simon's pull-out method.
Yes.
I mean, his pull-out game is hard. He has got some mad fucking skills, let me tell you. Because...
Nice choice of words. His pull-out game is hard.
It is so hard. No, but
he's
considering he's a rake,
yeah, which that's probably why he's such a successful
He's
rake.
very good at this because he knows.
He's like, I'm not going to get these. I'm not going to have some lady show up at my doorstep and say, pay for this baby.
Right. He understands the anatomy and how a baby is brought to be. So he knows that, hey, I'm going to pull this shit out. And he does, expertly. So Marina gets very sick, and Penn finds her.
Yeah, Penn was already stressed about her.
Right.
So stressed.
Penn was very worried. That's Marina's timeline. Then I wanted to touch on Eloise and the Featheringtons as a whole. Eloise and the Featheringtons. So Eloise makes it her mission to find out who Whistledown is, to restore the Featheringtons to society. Because with Marina, nobody wants them at any of the societal functions.
Their name is dirt.
Yes. So she's talking to Penn, and now that she knows it can't be a servant, because they just don't have time, because she figured that out.
She figured out they're actually quite busy.
Yes, they're actually quite busy. But she's like, it must be a tradesperson, you know? So she totally has zeroed in that it has to be a tradesperson. So she's super proud of herself. Also, on the side note, did you notice that the actress playing Eloise has like a black eye or something?
I don't think she has a black eye.
Something was going on with her eye.
Maybe she had an irritated eye that day on set.
I mean, it was swole.
Really?
Yes. I kept finding myself looking at it.
I'll have to go back and look.
It was very distracting, and I hope she's okay, and I hope that wasn't anything traumatic, and I hope that nobody punched her.
I doubt anybody punched her. I feel like I would have come across that in an article at this point.
I know, but I'm just worried.
Okay.
I mean, I know but her eye was definitely swole. Yeah.
Maybe she's having an allergic reaction to something.
That's exactly what I thought, because we know my face.
Maybe she's allergic to Lady Whistledown's bullshit.
I think possibly that is the cause. I do.
Allergic to your bullshit.
Mr. Featherington wants to have a boxing match thrown.
Yes.
So that he can make a large deal of money to help pull his family out of their despair that he has put them in.
I was gonna say, yeah, he did it, but at least he's trying to fix it.
He is trying to fix it, and
through shady means, but he's trying.
It's the only thing he knows,
Right.
obviously. So that is also something that's going on. All right, so let's talk about Lady Whistledown for a moment. The Queen has it out for her now because she did not mention in the most recent episode, she did not mention anything about the Queen's luncheon.
Right. Nothing at all, which is worse than saying something bad.
Right. And so she's like, that's it. She must be silenced. Like, she doesn't get a say anymore. I'm the Queen, and she doesn't deign to mention me, then she does not exist. So what is it? She's hired, what are they called? I didn't write it down. The Bow Street, what? Ooh.
Oh, the Bow Street Runners?
Yes. What is that?
The Bow Street Runners is like a detective type agency, sort of like the Pinkertons and...
Oh, okay.
Are they Pinkertons? I think they're the Pinkertons.
I don't know. I'm just thinking, and you said that, and immediately what I envisioned in my brain was My Little Ponies.
See, I hear Bow Street Runners and I think Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, so Pinkertons, My Little Ponies. I feel like we need to make a little webcomic of this. Like,
oh my god.
This would be so fun. Okay, anyways. So she has hired them. She's serious about finding Whistledown and silencing her. Okay, so Benedict. I just want to touch on him just a little bit. This boy is very confused.
I love
He is
Benedict.
like not quite understanding gay love at all.
I love that he is an artist or something, and that's I feel like there's always that pigeonhole of artists are like that.
Right. Free.
Yeah, they're very free. But I like how he's just kind of chill and open about.
He's like, but yeah,
he's like, I like this person. I'm like, hey, ladies, what's up over here? And then you, sir, all right, like I like you too. Like I love Benedict.
I like Benedict. Who is the other artist? I forgot to write down his name.
The guy that Benedict likes, or the painter?
The painter, yes.
I can't remember his name, but it's the painter that did Daphne's and the Duke's portrait at some point. Yeah,
turned out really nice. Okay, so I wrote down one of his quotes because I felt it very relevant to us in general. He says it takes courage to live outside the traditional expectations of society. So he was explaining to Benedict that you see me as just doing whatever I want, but
it's so hard.
So hard. Like, Mr. Weatherby is over there, and I love him, and I want to be with him, but I have to watch him court
other lady. Which,
other ladies.
He's married, but he's like, I have to be, but it also helps my wife out.
Yeah, and she has an understanding.
Yeah, she seems really cool.
She's totally down with it, and that's fair.
And it's just hard, because he's like, we can't be, which I would think, being two men in this society being like, hey, we're going to go hang out. Like, me and him are going to go shooting, or we're going to go do something. But he kind of was like, it's hard to even, like, we have to steal glances because we don't want someone to suspect us. So.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, and so the ending of the episode. So this is where I'm like, okay, the episode is ending. Everything kind of comes to a head. Daphne is not pregnant.
Yeah, we find out, which I wrote down a note on that too, and I was like, getting your period is the worst, but getting your period in the past is the worst.
It is the worst. So her period starts and they're at some musical. And
they're at the opera and she has to run out and grab like 50 rags.
Yes. And
God, it's horrible.
it is horrible in general, but also I feel for Daphne because she thinks her only purpose pretty much is
to be a mother.
And she is just sobbing.
Mm-hmm. Her mom comes out to. Her mom notices her. She's gone, and yeah, that was very sad. I felt bad for Daphne.
And Simon's face as he's hearing her sob, it broke my heart.
Yeah, he's as much as he's so upset with her, and he doesn't want children.
He loves her.
He loves her so much.
He really
feels so
loves
bad.
her. And he does feel bad, but that does not change.
No.
He has his own issues that he needs to deal with. Okay, so after watching this episode, my question was, does Daphne care for Simon as much? Is she going to be able to grow and understand Simon in a better way? And what's going to happen with them? So, like, at this episode, like, that's what I want to see in the next episode. I want to see whether or not there's growth or whether they just go their separate ways.
Yeah, they kind of left you at this could go bad.
Right, exactly. So luckily for Netflix, we can just watch the next episode. But like, if not, then that would have been kind of a major cliffhanger. So do you have anything else that you want to add for this episode?
The only other note I have for this episode is Lady Danbury is a boss. She's so cool.
She really is.
She is one running that party. She was the one. She's like, all right, ladies, let's do some gambling, some drinking, eat some cake. Like, we are just living the life. And if I had to live in that time period, I would want to be Lady Danbury.
I really enjoy her.
She's so great.
I do.
Okay, so with that, we're going to jump over to episode 8, which is our final episode, end of the series, And so Daphne and Simon, they seem to be making a little bit of headway in their relationship. So that was nice to see them kind of, they had lots of trepidation. They were very cautious around each other, but they were trying to figure it out.
Right. They were trying to learn and grow together.
And we have, at this point also, Marina gets a visitor, which is thrilling, except Marina's like, oh, fuck. Like, no, this is not what I wanted. And so when you think, oh my God, maybe it's George. Like, oh my God, he's finally here. But it turns out that it's George's brother.
Yes.
And he has terrible news. And he says that the young soldier is dead. And he was also apparently in the middle of writing a letter to Marina where he was telling her he loves her and he wants their child and he's going to take care of them. And Marina just breaks down because she's like, he loved me this whole time. And I could tell she felt she betrayed him by giving up on him.
Yes.
She felt horrible. And not only that, but she tried to abort their child. And now he's dead, and, like, that's all she has.
And at this point, she thinks that she's been successful.
Yeah, she thinks that she's ruined everything. And his brother, this other Crane brother, comes with a proposal for her. Which I mean, as bad timing as it was, and as horrible as the whole situation is, it sucks, but I feel like his name's Philip. I felt like he was a really, really decent guy, and he was
right. It sounds like George and Philip
had a close relationship. It sounds like, because you can tell he loved his brother, and he wants to honor his brother's wishes. And to me, I was like, okay, they both love George. You can tell they both really care for George. And if this has to be a situation, if they have to just kind of be together and love George together, like
right, because George's baby.
Right.
I mean, that's something that they have in common. That's a continuation of his brother.
Right. Which they still think, well, the brother thinks that she's pregnant.
Yes.
She thinks she's not pregnant. So she just is like, no, get away from me. No, I'm not doing this. No. Just no in general. So Eloise ends up jumping to her really quickly. Eloise has a little confrontation with who she suspects to be Lady Whistledown, which is the modiste. She's, trying her best to speak through her teeth about, well, if Lady Whistledown would do this and Lady Whistledown, and the modista's like, yeah, Lady Whistledown would. Like,
yeah.
good.
Get out. Your
And
brother's upstairs.
Yeah. The modiste is humoring Eloise, you can tell. She's like, oh my God, this girl thinks I might be Lady Whistledown.
Mm-hmm.
But she just plays coy, and I just thought she was really funny. And so Eloise thinks, aha, she's admitted it, but secretly to me, and I'll keep her secret for now, but aha, I know what she's up to.
Right,
And
she's so proud of herself.
right, she is. I feel so bad. Poor Eloise. And of course, like you said, Benedict is upstairs, like, close and lock the door. Like, we are busy. I love them. They're just cute. So now I'm just gonna try to follow this episode kind of in the order because there's a lot of big reveals. It is the finale. So then we jump to Mr. Featherington, asshat, as I wrote. He wagers the deed to his house on this fight.
Oh my God, yes.
It's not just, like, I'm going to put some money down here. Well, because he doesn't have any money. So the guys, the super shady guys that he's meeting on the side.
Oh my gosh, how did I forget this?
He's like, here's the deed to my house. And I was like, boy, you better win. And you're banking on this guy throwing away his honor. And if not, you are literally homeless. And your wife is going to murder you. Like, she's going to murder you. So I can't even imagine being married to this guy. Just being in that position, like Lady Featherington, where she has no control over their finances, no control, no power in that household, really.
Right.
Like, just awful. So I would be so incredibly stressed, being like, my daughters need dresses, where's the money? And I can't do anything about it. It's not like you can go to a judge or something. So that's why, to me, that really kind of impacted me in showing me how desperate and why she's so desperate to marry off her daughters.
Absolutely.
She's trying to she wants to protect them from their own father.
Yes.
She's like, I need you to be taken care of and I need you to be safe because your dad's an idiot and he's throwing away all of our money.
Right.
So I was like, okay, her mama bear came out. So it just, definitely. So then Daphne is busy snooping around the London house, and she finally finds these letters that the Duke had written his father when he was a child. And it really, like, they're unopened, and she's reading through them, and she's like, oh my God, this dude was such a shithead.
Right.
Like, surprise, he's actually a shithead. My husband was telling the truth.
Right.
So then, now that she's had this revelation, Francesca, the missing child that we had, finally makes her appearance in the last half hour or so of the show. And Daphne, she tries to break the awkwardness between her and the Duke. So she's like, I'm going to visit my family. And he's like, great. And she's like, well, you should come with me. And then I like how she tried to play it off about, it'll look super weird if you don't.
Right.
It's not that I want you there, but you should come because it'll look weird.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. Like,
all right.
And she's also like having breakfast with him, and he's like, do you want me to eat somewhere else? And she's like, no.
She made a point
to eat where he eats. And so she's trying
to be there first.
She's awkward, and she can't just come out and be like, I'm sorry.
I am so sorry. Holy cow, your dad was
she's
fucking asshole.
Right, but she's realizing I can fix this rift between us. Like, I have to work on it.
I have to try.
Yeah, exactly. So they go to her family's home, and of course, Simon is wonderful with the younger children. Brilliant with the children because he is he's just a good guy. So
he really is.
Yeah, and so Daphne's like, God, he would make such a good dad. Like, you can just tell in her face. She's like, if he could just like forgive me and put our happiness over his hatred for his father, because that's what's really holding him back. It's not so much, I think, that he truly doesn't want children. He says he doesn't.
Because he doesn't want to give his father the satisfaction.
Exactly. Like, he made this comment on his father's deathbed, like, this whole line is ending with me. Like, you suck. I'm not putting your name further down the lines of history. Right. So he's got such hatred built up for his father that he just can't. And Daphne should have respected that. She should have tried to understand that, and she didn't.
From the beginning, yes.
Right, but at least now she sees it, and she sees that it's not that he's, like, Simon's not a bad guy, and he's not full of hatred. he needs time.
He does. He has his own wounds.
Yeah. So there's we get back to our fighting match going on, and we get to see the very touching. Indeed, there's a lot of touching. So much touching. This reunion between Anthony and Sienna. They're just. It was very touching.
He missed her so much.
He had to get super close.
Yes.
Right up on in there. He's just, I missed you. You were fantastic. I'm sorry. Like,
right.
Let me move that skirt for you. Just
let me help you.
Let me be helpful. So yeah, so he seems like he's over his little weirdness, and he's willing to be actually seen in public with her despite her status. So I think it really got to him. I might actually lose her, and she's actually pretty awesome.
Right.
Like, we have great conversation. She gets me. We understand each other. I love her. And I just messed everything up by being myself, basically.
Right.
So, yeah, I was like, imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you might lose her to someone who treats her better. Wow. So he's got it in his head that, like, this can be great. Me and her can be together, and it's going to be great. So Daphne and Simon are now hosting the last ball of the season, which is a big to-do. It's kind of a big deal that they're back in town, considering that they just got married.
Right.
Like, it's a little strange, but I think everyone's just more excited. It's more chance to gossip. But
right.
Then they're also like, plus we get to have a kick-ass party. Like, this is so cool. And I just wanted to point out, too, like, the setup that they had for the ball was amazing.
I loved it.
I just wanted to live in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize it was open to the outside.
Oh, really?
It took me until it started raining. I didn't realize it was like a courtyard. It just looked like this beautiful garden.
So pretty.
It was beautiful. I just loved it, and have their little painting set up for everyone to admire. And then they're settling back into their little flirtatious banter that they're known for. So that was kind of nice to see them growing and changing again. So, and then we've got Eloise rolling up in there, like my girl, my poor awkward girl.
Yes. With her black eye.
Oh gosh, she does not have a black eye. I hope not.
Just look.
It's fine. So
I hope you're okay.
I hope you're okay, actress playing Eloise. So she rolls up in this party. She has to dress up. She looks great. Her sister's like, you look beautiful. And she's like, you know what? I'm glad I'm not you. Thank you for being you so I don't have to be. And it sounded kind of snarky, but I think Daphne understood what she meant. And she was like, this is so hard. And so I just love that Daphne was like, listen, if you want to go hide in the library, no one's going to notice. And I was like, that is true sisterhood right there. Like, there's a library, go hide in it. I was like, oh God, thank you. That would be me at this party. So then we got Penelope over there wearing yellow.
Always yellow.
Yeah, poor.
When it's not her choice.
Right, poor girl.
When it's her choice, it's generally pink.
Right, I've noticed that. She's one softer, cuter, and then it's like, oh, my dress is yellow. Great.
Again.
Thanks. She wasn't happy. But I was like, but at least her and Colin got to try to make amends. And I was like, girl, go get your man. I was out there like, get him, Penelope, get him. Like, tell him that you like him. But
of course he had to interrupt.
Yeah, he was like, oh my God, I miss you too, Pen. Like, you're so great. Let me talk to you about something. And she's like, I have to tell you something. And he's like, well, let me go first.
Never.
So he's stupid. And she needs to learn. Yeah, she needs to learn not to wait to talk. Don't wait your turn. Just if it's that important, say it.
Say it.
Yeah. So Colin instead is like, I'm going to be leaving tomorrow. I'm traveling. And Penelope's like, wow, great, awesome. I hope you have fun. Like, and he's like, she's nothing. Just, oh Jesus, like.
And I have to go.
I have to go cry in a corner. So
see you later.
Poor Ben. So Anthony shows up with a big bouquet of flowers to Sienna's house because he's like,
invited her to this ball.
Yeah, he was like, come to the ball with me. Like, we're gonna be kick-ass. We're gonna be the it couple, and I love you, and you're fantastic. And except, hello, she's already got a gentleman caller.
Yes.
And he was cool. I'm glad they didn't do a let's fight on the lawn type of BS or
Right.
something. The guy was like, oh, are you here for her? Let me go get her. And I was like, all right, like, we have a gentleman. So this poor girl, she's just like, look, I have to look out for myself. If I go to this party, they're going to rip me apart. Like, I don't belong there. It's going to be horrible. I'm going to be upset.
And that's not what she wants.
Right. So I liked that she put herself first. Like, she actually really put herself first. She was like, I found a guy who doesn't expect me to change, and I'm okay with that. I would rather be with him than be with you, even though you're great, you know, but, and I also really liked that Anthony was cool enough to just apologize.
Right.
He didn't try to make a desperate attempt to keep her, or didn't argue and try to persuade her. He did. He did. I wrote he made a crazy Jekyll and Hyde face change right after she shut the door, but I mean, at least he did it not in front of her, and he was upset, but he kept it to himself until she was like, I'm sorry, don't ever talk to me again. Like, and he is like, okay, let me go. So Eloise, I mean, she had decided to hang out a bit at the party, not go hide in the library. And she finds out from the Queen's dude that... Well, he was a footman or something. Yes. So he's like, yeah, well, we are setting a trap for Lady Whistledown. She is going to be gone as of tonight. So Eloise is like, crap, I have to go rescue her. So
I love that she's like, I have to say... Well, first she asked her brother, she's like, Greg, I need you to go take, because she thinks it's the Modiste. So she's like, I need you to go.
Yeah, she's like, go help her. I need to go hang out with her.
Leave me alone.
Right.
What are you doing?
I'm
she's
at
like,
a party.
I can do it.
Right. And I love how she went to go talk to the guy with the carriage, and he was like, Miss Eloise, no. And she was like, I've got money. Like, I will pay you. And he's
I'm
like,
going to pay you.
Okay. Which I like that guy. He was a nice little side character. So Daphne's mother comes to talk to her at the ball. She imparts a little wisdom that's really important. She's like, me and your dad had a really great relationship, but we also had our problems. And the difference was that they made the choice to love each other every single day. And so she really just tells Daphne, love is a choice and you have to work on it. So Daphne, they still have her and the Duke still have a shot at a happy life, but they just have to choose to love each other. So Daphne's already started to kind of understand this herself, but having her mother really point that out, I think, made a big difference to her. So, you know, of course, now we have some slow motion shots of rain falling on the flowers and things, and then it's just like magic moment here. We've got sparkles happening. So Daphne hangs out in the rain while everyone else goes and hides, and the Duke's like, what are you doing? And she just is like, look, you are totally worthy of love. Like, you deserve to be loved. And I think he really needed to hear that.
He definitely needed to hear that.
Yeah, and I think it was so important to him that it came from Daphne.
Yes.
Because he loves her so much and her opinion matters. So that was a nice moment. And then we get a bombshell dropped on us near the end of the episode. Mr. Featherington is dead. And all their money is gone once again.
Right.
So we've got... It's like, now what? Oh my God. Now this show's turned into a murder mystery, and I didn't know to expect that until like 20 minutes till the end. So Mrs. Featherington, Lady Featherington, is just, I mean, she comes home and everyone's like, your husband's dead. And she immediately is like, I need to go look at the money. Like,
right, exactly.
We just made a bunch of money and it's all gone. And I feel so bad for her. So I just wrote in here too. I was like, let me clap it out. Simon is amazing. Like, Simon is so great. I just love him. So they got their little groove back. I would have liked for Daphne to have directly apologized.
Right.
She didn't.
She didn't. Again, she doesn't think she was wrong.
I think she realized what she did was super shitty, but she's just moving past it. They're just not going to acknowledge
Immaturity.
it. Yeah, so it's their marriage. They can do what they want. It's
right.
fictional. It's their marriage.
It is.
As long as they're happy.
In their imaginary world.
Right. So now with this ball and this rain and this declaration and everything, it's the end of the London season. So we leave off this season with Colin off to travel, Penn is busy crying her eyes out, which I also forgot that her dad had just died.
No!
I was just like, oh, she's so sad about Colin leaving. And then I was like, oh shit, her dad
is also dead.
I totally forgot.
And she doesn't know what she's going to be doing.
Yeah, she's like, oh, my life. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I literally forgot her dad just died. That's worse than Colin going on travel. So Marina finds out she's still pregnant. She thought she wasn't, and then she feels something, and she's like, oh my God. So she asked Portia, who's Lady Featherington, she's like, how did you endure such a long, loveless marriage with this guy? And Portia just tells her, you find things to love.
Right.
You know, she's like, you might not be happy with your situation, your circumstance. She's like, but little things happen and they add up to a good marriage. Like, you know, you have your kids, you have these other little moments, and everything's going to be okay. So she's like, you know,
okay.
Yeah. So Marina decides to go ahead and marry the other Mr. Crane. And she rides off into the sunset kind of with him. And she's had a pretty shitty turn this season, but I think things are better for her.
I think so. I am sad that George is dead.
Yeah, I'm sad she lost George, but it seems like she has another chance at a decent life.
I think that she does actually have. This is a good chance.
And then Philip will treat her very well.
I think so.
I think he'll treat her very well.
I hope so.
So now they get a note at the Featherington home. There's someone new who will be inheriting the Featherington estate.
Okay, which I forgot that he gambled the deed. Like, I didn't put that together.
Well, he gambled the deed, but that means he kept it because he won.
But he didn't win because they figured out. That's why they killed him.
Right, but I just mean, like, at the time, he didn't lose the deed to his house when he was gambling.
You don't think that they, with the money...
Oh, I'm sure they came and took the deed and the money. But okay. I'm just saying, but there's someone who... The deed was in his name, but now there's a new inheritor of the estate. So I don't know if he's going to get the home exactly. But
how is this going to play out?
Unless they have to move to the country where this guy has the estate.
I don't know.
I don't know. So this is going to be fun. I can't wait to find out who this asshole is. Like, I assume he's an asshole. Because I'm assuming he's probably related on the father's side. Probably a younger brother. Which I would think that...
I don't know.
I don't know. Unless he's got... Oh my God, what if he has a son? Mr. Featherington.
Oh, because it was very, like, they brought the paper and they were like...
It was a shock.
It was a shock.
It was kind of a shock, and Lady Featherington was like, I need to prepare myself for this. So I don't know who he is. I can't wait to find out.
I don't know what's going to happen.
I can't wait. I bet he's going to be cute and young. So Anthony's decides he's over with love.
He hates it.
He says, down with love. I'm going to be by myself forever. So we'll see how long that lasts. Probably, I'd say episode 1 of season 2.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure he's going to be happy.
Sounds about right.
So Eloise finds out. She went and she had warned Lady Whistledown without being able to see her and find any more clues out. But she was like, someone's coming to get you. And Lady Whistledown took off. So she was like, I've protected the Modiste. Everything's great. And then she finds out that the Modiste was with her brother. And it's like, what? We already knew that. Mm-hmm. So we already knew that she wasn't Lady Whistledown. But Eloise has had this revelation and she's flipping out. And we get to our very, very ending shot. We have last little note from Lady Whistledown. And we find out it's Penelope.
Which is amazing. But also, I thought we were going to find out who it was.
I thought so too.
Why did they spoil it for us? I feel like I was spoiled.
I thought it wasn't going to happen at all. And then I found out apparently it happens in like the 3rd or 4th book. So the creators of the show were like, look, people are going to know already. Or they're going to want to know. Or they already. Right. It's just whatever. They're like, we're just going to throw it out there. So I was like, are you shitting me right now? Like, you better not be fucking with me. Because I thought for a second they were just messing with us. Like,
okay,
psych, it's not Penelope. We're just putting you in a wrong direction. But I was like, no, it is Penelope. Like, Penelope is an amazing choice. And I was reading an article. They said that the directors and the actress would make sure that Penelope was in the background of every important scene. Like, every scene that apparently,
I like it.
Yes, anytime there's something that Lady Whistledown wrote about, apparently Penelope's just lurking in the background.
Which makes sense why she didn't write about the queens.
Because her family was not invited.
Well, uninvited.
Yes, because they were shamed at the time. So, yeah, I was just like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like,
it also makes sense why she feels so bad for Marina.
Yes, because she felt very guilty. So
it was very personal. And she's even talking to Eloise in the 7th episode about how that one Whistledown was different. That Marina was revealed to be pregnant. And she's like, right, it was personal.
Yeah. It's very personal.
It was personal, Penelope.
Yeah, so I was excited.
Yeah,
and
I love Penelope, you know that.
Also, the other thing I realized, because I keep looking at every Bridgerton article I can come across, and it was one, and it was about, these are where you've seen these actors before, and I was like, have I seen them? The girl who plays Penelope was in Dairy Girls.
Yeah, was she really?
She was Claire, the one who's a lesbian.
Oh my God, nuh-uh.
Yeah, I was like, no wonder she looked familiar, except her hair is a different color and a totally different style.
Oh, I'm going to have to look that up.
I know, and now I really want to watch Dairy Girls.
Okay, so that's a thing.
Yes, so if anyone has not seen Dairy Girls, watch it. It's really funny.
It is funny.
I can't wait for the 3rd season. I hope we get that this year too.
Yes.
And then I have a little PS note for the end of this season. Daphne has her baby. Yes. And it's like so we've gone like a full year into the future. I was like, she's got a baby and some shit, which is cool, but also Penelope. Like, can we get back to that immediately? Right. So Simon's perfect. The end. That's pretty much how the show ended for me.
Right. Okay, so the show ended with her giving birth.
Yes.
In that room with the amazing wallpaper.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm in love with that wallpaper.
I love the wallpaper.
So like when Simon and Daphne finally get to doing the deed again, the wallpaper was all I could stare at.
Yeah, that's true. Both of us were. I thought it was so funny. This is why we're on the same wavelength, because they're like having this like erotic scene, and her and I just stare at each other and go, "Oh my God, the wallpaper!" We're like, that's nice and all, but we're a little.
Look at this wallpaper.
We're a little deaf to their nudity at this point, but we're just like, oh my God, I love the wallpaper.
Which is also why we prefer K-dramas.
That's true. But also, I wanted to throw out, speaking of wallpaper really quickly, I almost forgot. At the Featherington home, their wallpaper is the color of sherbet. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
I used to eat it since I was allergic to milk as a kid. I used to eat sherbet all the time, and I was staring at their walls, and I'm like, what do their walls remind me of? And then it's like the oranges and greens and pinks hues. I was like, oh my God, their house is just sherbet.
I want sherbet.
I know, it made me want sherbet. So
okay, let's get sherbet.
Oh, I hope.
It's almost your birthday. Let's get sherbet.
Yes. So happy birthday to me and all the other Capricorns out there, which I know so many apparently. Also, everyone go out, get sherbet, make a side blog about the wallpaper in Bridgerton. If you have time, look.
Wallpaper.
If the guy from Hannibal can have his Twitter account or whatever just be carpeting in airports.
Okay.
That's what he's into. I think someone can have wallpaper from Bridgerton.
I don't know. I really love that wallpaper though.
It was really nice.
I was
love
like,
the colors.
that would look great in my house.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so that was the end. That's our finale. Bridgerton, I'd say we both probably rated high stars. I think we both really enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was despite the fact that I was like, this is gonna be some nonsense, maybe. It was so entertaining.
It was highly entertaining.
Yeah.
I ended up watching so many of the episodes repeatedly.
Yeah, because we would, we're taking our notes or whatever, we're watching it again and like going through it again. I'm like, but it's still very entertaining.
It was. It was extremely entertaining. Even though I watched episode 7 4 times.
Oh God.
It was fine. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so if you have any other recommendations, if you want us to review something else, email us at thetimeofourwives@gmail.com.
Yes,
you can find us Twitter, on Instagram, all over the place.
Instagram is just filled with our pets.
Yeah, also if you're interested in the dogs that keep snoring while we try to record, check out our Instagram.
They're cute.
They're cute. I'll say, but
And they snore really
They snore a lot. They're the sidekicks. So, yeah. So if you have any recommendations,
let us know.
Let us know. We'll check them out. And with that, we will be signing off.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you.